The first day of the new year was crisp and quiet, the sunlight glinting off the frost-covered trees in the small southern town of Willow Grove. Ellie was up early, her hands busy in the kitchen, the aroma of black-eyed peas simmering on the stove filling the air. She moved between the counter and the stove with the precision of someone performing a sacred ritual. For Ellie, this wasn't just a meal, it was a promise to herself and her late grandmother, who always swore that a bowl of black-eyed peas on New Year's Day would bring good fortune. Across town, Marcus was nursing a cup of coffee in his tiny apartment. His grandmother used to make the same meal every New Year's, but after she passed, the tradition faded. He missed the smell of black-eyed peas, collard greens, and cornbread, but most of all, he missed the way she'd laugh as she reminded him to eat every bite for good luck. This year, something stirred in him, a longing to reconnect with those old traditions, even if it was just for himself. Ellie was about to settle into her quiet morning when her phone buzzed with a message from her best friend, Tasha. "You're still making all that food for just you? Come on, girl. Marcus from book club doesn't have plans. I'm sending him over." Before Ellie could protest, there was a knock at her door. Marcus stood on the porch, his hands shoved in his pockets, looking slightly sheepish. "Tasha said you might need some help eating all this food," he said with a crooked smile. Ellie hesitated, then laughed, opening the door wide. "Well, come on in. I hope you like black-eyed peas." Over the next hour, the two of them worked side by side in the kitchen. Marcus helped chop the collard greens, and Ellie mixed the cornbread batter, their movements gradually falling into a rhythm. They shared stories of their childhood New Year's traditions. Ellie's grandmother's insistence on adding a shiny penny to the pot for extra luck, and Marcus's grandmother's ritual of lighting a candle for each family member. When the meal was finally ready, they sat down at the small wooden table, bowls of steaming black-eyed peas in front of them. Ellie's eyes softened as she lifted her glass of sweet tea. "To good luck, prosperity, and new connections," she said, her voice warm. Marcus clinked his glass against hers, his smile reaching his eyes. As they ate, the conversation flowed effortlessly, weaving between laughter and quiet moments of shared understanding. Marcus found himself opening up about his struggles to keep his grandmother's traditions alive, and Ellie shared how cooking this meal each year felt like holding on to a piece of her own history. The meal felt more meaningful than either had expected, a blending of past and present that seemed to breathe new life into both of them. Afterward, they lingered in the kitchen, washing dishes and sneaking pieces of cornbread. Marcus's hand brushed Ellie's as they reached for the same plate, and they both froze for a moment before laughing. It was an easy kind of laughter, the kind that felt like it could belong to a story still being written. By the time Marcus left, the sun was dipping low on the horizon, painting the town in hues of gold and crimson. Ellie stood on the porch, watching him walk down the path. He turned back, his smile as warm as the cornbread they'd shared. "Same time next year?" he asked. Ellie's heart fluttered, a hopeful smile spreading across her face. "Only if you bring the collard greens." And just like that, the tradition took on a new meaning, one of luck, love, and the simple beauty of starting a new year with someone who felt like home.